So, you're still optimistic about the market as a whole after a week in which we received advice from ARM and Western Dig, and now from Intel and Microchip. Well, no, I'm optimistic about businesses that support Nvidia or have a significant market share in GPUs. Therefore, it is obvious. Get your Nvidia keychain quickly for less than $10. We are offering a huge discount exclusively to the first 100 orders. As an example of their stupidity, on the Amazon conference call, they highlighted that Nvidia sold out, demonstrating their complete awareness that they must invest in AI. They've been sold out for a while. They are most likely sold out through 2025. Listen, nobody has been deterred from believing that Nvidia will continue to be the main benefactor by the expenditure plans that we'd have heard, and that have been confirmed by companies like Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, or Amazon. However, the market is currently undergoing a significant rotation. In the end, consumers are worried about whether the Fed is falling behind, but none of it seems to address the main issue, which is that Nvidia may be sold out for some time to come. Of course, if you listen to Amazon, they have to make their own chips. But that's a defensive tactic because they can't obtain enough of them, isn't it? You hear them designing their own chips? Indeed. This is how I view Amazon. Given how awful the stock sounded today, I believe it's crucial. I would purchase it. Amazon must purchase a large number of aircraft because they are aware of the high volume of business. They must erect hangars. It is no longer necessary to place passengers in planes when purchasing a large number of them. Thus, they purchase the aircraft first. You have to wager that they're correct, and it's really expensive. I'm willing to wager that chassis is correct. Otherwise, you may employ a different comparison. They're purchasing a Stratocaster, and learning like a violin isn't enough. You have to learn how to be a Stratocaster. Learning it is a little more difficult. Teaching inferential reasoning is a little more difficult. I'm merely looking for an analogy to help others realize that it's taking a while. The fact that they are unable to just flip a switch is upsetting people. And people thought, are you kidding? When they brought up the Olympics. The nation seems to be stuck in the year 2012. They're not buying as much after all. And they're watching the Olympics. Additionally, they are not me because they are watching the Olympics. Yes, I am aware that was strange. We did have the article yesterday about the DOJ contacting Nvidia's rivals who have been protesting, and Jeff did have a note today stating that clients are phoning in to inquire about possible delays in Blackwell. It's slower over there. They never truly stated that it would ship in large quantities, but it is slow. People therefore believe that it would ship in large quantities. They ought to return. They ought to speak with Jensen. He never stated that it will ship in large quantities at this time. Never. Correct. Correct. The question of whether there is a return on capital invested remains. By the way, Jesse stated the same thing, and the hyperscalers all gave yes answers. How about Zuckerberg, really? Do you recall? Indeed, he was discussing generative artificial intelligence. According to Jesse, it will grow rapidly and will mostly be developed on the cloud from the beginning, which, as you can see, gives those companies the chance to keep expanding. There has been absolutely no update regarding the cloud. That's what we ought to be concentrating on. However, everyone's attention is on the people who are deciding how to allocate capital. Just one thing, please. You can say it a lot. If you were upset with me, I apologize. I'm sorry, not angry. I hate doing the AI revolution story, but I got a little enthusiastic because today is a significant day. Despite the market's shakiness, I think it's in good shape and all of our checks are in order. This is not a time to panic. According to the Financial Times, Elliott Management recently informed investors that Nvidia is in a bubble and that the hoopla surrounding AI technology is not being matched by reality. You disagree completely? I'm sure I couldn't be more disagreeing. We were here prior to conference calls and earnings, and I believe we even discussed it. Now let's examine the numbers. Examine the Azure acceleration. Take a look at what Lisa Su from AMD discussed. In terms of the acceleration they're aiming for in the second half, we observed what we assumed Azure was merely indicating. That explains modernization in great detail. That time is now. The bigots have persisted in their hatred, in my opinion. For the past few years, the bears have been there. I understand. It's simple to come out and sort of shout fire into a packed theater at the moment. Since it comes from more than simply the call, we actually don't see it. You see that the buzz is matched by the value. In fact, I believe that the street is underestimating the trillions of dollars that will be spent on AI capital projects over the next 3 to 4 years. And that is in no way diminished by anything we witnessed here. No, Dan, you're correct. To your point, none of them are abandoning their capital expenditure plans. In other words, AWS surged. AWS has seen a 19% increase in sales. However, there is still the more significant question of whether you will eventually see that return on investment. You clearly think that will be the case, but what do you observe in terms of upcoming applications that will begin to at least alleviate for less than $10? Favor Nvidia keychain as soon as possible. We are offering a huge discount exclusively to the first 100 orders. Are there any of those concerns that certain investors could have from an enterprise standpoint? In a few weeks, Godfather B, Jensen, and NVDA will share their thoughts with us. The number of enterprises currently pursuing AI has risen 45 times, as are the application cases. These businesses are therefore headed towards what I anticipate will be use cases in the fields of retail, healthcare, finance, and insurance. It's all about monetization, as we've always discussed. Spending is present, and based on what Sue and Nadella discussed, and what we discussed with Sundar and Jesse, I believe that a revolution is taking place. The modernization process is only now beginning. I won't claim that there will be a gap between capital expenditures and revenue, but I believe that betting on this and against it would be equivalent to betting against Cook and $2.2 trillion in terms of where we eventually see the real install base. As you can see, Apple is currently undergoing a revolution in artificial intelligence. It's a difficult wager. Do you think it could last a year? Unless that occurs within a year, correct. Would you become anxious if the rhetoric remained the same? In my opinion, if we sit here in January or February and we haven't seen it, we haven't seen the monetization from a software perspective, and we haven't seen it from an actual mod outside of Mag 7, to call it the second, third, or fourth derivative, that if McDermott shows up and suddenly starts to be critical of AI, then we need to take a look at it. But at the moment, it's actually more confident due to what we observe, including our checks as well as our earnings. I've never seen anything bad about Bill McDermott. He's made a change in the past, and even if many people are currently putting petrol on the fire, I'll accept McDermott, Sue, Nadella, and Cook if they see something. We've been seeing reports concerning the Blackwell chip delay and the possible consequences for some of those clients, including Microsoft, Google, and Meta. How's that tail going for you? Do you believe this will make a difference? In my opinion, Nvidia may have a delay of up to 90 days in the release of the Blackwell series processor. However, I believe that they have such much technological advantage that no one will be able to fill the void and take market share. Thus, it is theirs to take. Since they are the most crucial link in the AI supply chain, I believe that their revenues will just be delayed for a quarter or two. This will undoubtedly affect the development of AI infrastructure for some of those hyperscalers, as we refer to them in the US, the 4 large corporations that are investing billions upon billions on this project. I am aware that Sam touched on this topic and brought up the issue of the AI hype being bullish on tech, which you are in general, but when you get down to the specifics, do you think that pressure will increase to the downside if an activist fund manager with the stature of Elliott Management claims that there is an overabundance of AI and that these stocks are overbought? I think we need to make a distinction between what I refer to as AI 1.0 and AI 2.0. I still feel very comfortable with AI 1.0. These are the names of the infrastructure buildings, which are usually semiconductor, data networking, and data server firms. The 4 hyperscalers have just stated in their conference calls that they will invest a total of $227 billion on AI infrastructure over the course of the next 12 months. I suppose no one makes such a commitment. They also claim that their capital expenditures will increase from that extremely high base in the next year, so I don't think they're going to alter those projections. I like all of those stocks then. The AI 2.0 stocks follow, and I'm still not convinced. Therefore, I don't have any. These are the businesses that say they will have these amazing AI